Will The Mandalorian Season 2 introduce Luke Skywalker in some form? I think the answer is yes, and potentially it may motivate Din Djarin's journey in some of Season 2. So let's dive into my wild theory regarding the Mando and Luke and why I think Season 2 will at least mention him. Okay, so the trailer for Season 2 heavily relies on the discussion about Din's journey with the Armorer from Season 1, which is to reconnect the child with its race, who might be enemy sorcerers, as she and Din put it. The Armorer went on to discuss Mandalore the Great and his war with Jedi. So I imagine Din would be asking around about such things on his travels across the galaxy with his little boy. And knowing his directive, being a foundling himself and a warrior who follows the way of the Mandalore, it makes his trip back to the familiar Tatooine very intriguing to me. Of course, Din Djarin did make friends with Pelimato, so maybe he is back for repairs, but I think that's way too simple. My theory here is that Din discovered some information regarding stories of people similar to the child, folks that can harness the Force. And I also think that he's discovered that a few Jedi remain, which would lead him to the name Skywalker, and then back to the planet Tatooine. But why Tatooine beyond the Lars homestead and nostalgia bait? Well, The Mandalorian is all about the darker, grimier side of Star Wars, and who on Tatooine falls under that description? Jabba the Hutt. Considering Tatooine was also the last place someone declared that they were a Jedi Knight, at least movie-wise, it's also possible that the surviving remnants of Jabba's palace shared the stories of what transpired from Jabba's sail barge in Return of the Jedi, most likely talking with other fellow gangsters or bounty hunters. A young man in black with a sword made out of light who can move things with his mind, and besting one of the most dangerous gangsters is definitely a story to tell in a cantina. And from the trailer, it does look like the Mandalorian travels to areas kind of like that bad part of town you want to avoid. But that's where a tale of this kind regarding Jabba would make its way to. And the last part of this has to do with the ice planet, which I don't believe is Hoth. I actually believe the ice planet we see in the trailer is Ilum. And if you are unfamiliar with what that is, it's a sacred planet of the Jedi Order where their Padawans would travel to in order to participate in what is called the Gathering. These Jedi would find their Kyber crystals and finish their first lightsabers. And then Ilum also went on to become Starkiller Base, so it has its place in canon. My guess is that while learning about Luke, it could potentially be mentioned that he is thought to be traveling the galaxy looking for information and knowledge about the Jedi, just like Din Djarin, since technically Luke is the last one at this time. And I understand that Ahsoka is rumored to be in this season, however, she's not a Jedi anymore. At best, Ahsoka could play into part of Luke's trail as well. But my belief is Din and the child are on Ilum thinking Luke might be there, or perhaps has left a trace regarding his whereabouts and information on other Force users. Now, while there has been zero mention of Luke at all in The Mandalorian, in the press, and anything, now that it's Season 2 and the stakes are set to get the child back to the people that are like Luke, Ahsoka, Jedi, Force users, etc., Luke Skywalker becomes a real possibility of being mentioned in the very least in discussion. As I said, I understand this is highly speculative, but I think it's reasonable to conclude based on the premise of Season 2. There are enemy sorcerers, there are Jedi, we've seen that black-robed lady in the hood in the trailer, and we also go back to Tatooine. For me, it feels like it's all hinting back to something regarding Luke in some way. So that's my theory. Tell me down below what your theories are for Season 2, or if you think this one's ridiculous. I love that the trailer didn't give away too much, but of course, as a fan of Star Wars, I am compelled to nerd out on potential plot points. May the Force be with you. AT-AT is signing off.